So I'm just driving, doing some errands, and I'm simultaneously working on a song I'm going to sing tomorrow at church. And I had a vision, and it made me so emotional. It was like people worshiping worldwide, and like every nation and race and culture, and they all were worshiping different. And some were really loud and boisterous, you know, some were in small villages, and they all came together, all of them to worship Jesus. And it's different, you know, different languages, we're all different, you know, and not everyone's worship looks the same. And some of them, you know, it was hidden, it was like by candlelight, you know, and I perceive that was from the places where it's illegal to worship him. They can't do that, you know what I mean? Places with governments that have made it illegal, but still they worshiped him nonetheless in private. And I just saw it was just like a dark room with a candle, and they were worshiping him and in different places, just dancing and glorying him, making me so emotional. And he was like glorying in them, glorying in him, and Jesus was delighting in them, delighting in him. And I, you know, this is going to sound weird, but I saw him smiling. And I if you asked me what he looked like, I couldn't tell you, because it was just weird. I don't know if it was just his great perception, but I saw him, like I perceived him just smiling, and I felt this pride. You know, what I call godly pride, because it's not a pride in self, but I felt this pride, like to be part of this. And it was more than that, though. It was like I felt pride in him and who he was and who he is. I felt this pride in who he is. It's weird. And anyway, I thought, you know, he was taking so much joy in our worship of him. And I thought, it made me think about when we are joyless, how the only reason for that is because for whatever reason we're not living for him at this moment, at the moment that you're joyless. Because if you're living for him, you are joyful, just like these people just dancing in synchronization. Like some of them were just dancing, and they had all sorts of different like props and everything, you know. It was just different cultures and different people. And I was thinking, like, you know, if you were just born, just you in like a hut every day, it was just you in your hut, and there were no bills, and there wasn't all the things, there wasn't all these things, you would be joyful, because you would just glory in him every day. You would just glory in him every single day. And I thought how the distractions, basically every single thing that we worry on is intentional. It means to distract us from him, and we get entangled in it, you know, entangled in things that we seemingly can't avoid at this time, you know, like, I mean, bills and jobs and, you know, this and that. But I was just thinking how it's also intentional, like every distraction that takes from him, and how those who are able to live more simply, you know, that we often, that seem maybe poor to us, but they have more joy because they have less worries, they have less concern, and they have all the time in this life to just dance for him. And how that, you know, that was just so amazing. And I also thought about how sometimes we get stuck on the name, you know, Jesus, and many people, you know, say Yeshua and this and that. And I'm not denying that, but I also know that he loved their worship in different names, and they didn't all call him Jesus. They didn't all call him Yeshua, you know, because they have different languages. People have different languages, and he knows the hearts. It's really about the hearts, you know. And I remember several months ago, I was making all these shorts. I was learning how to say, I was prophesying to several nations of people in the shorts, and I was learning for each nation how to say, God bless you. And some of them I can't remember, but I remember like in China, like they say it like Yesu, like Y-E-S-U. And that's still, or no, Jesus loves you. I was learning to say, not God bless you. Jesus loves you. And that was still like, he hears them. It's not like he doesn't hear them, you know, because it's not Jesus. Like, he hears what's in the hearts. And he was just hearing all this beautiful worship. It was so different everywhere. It was like a moment in time. It was like one moment in time, because it was dark in some places and light in some, and some people by candlelight. And it was like adults and older people, and their only care in the world was him. There was no other care. It wasn't about how they looked, and it wasn't about the songs they were singing. They were just using their bodies and their voices just to glory in him, and he was smiling and glorying back in them. And I just felt this pride. Like, it's weird. I can't explain it. It was kind of just like, if I say it, you're gonna laugh at me, but I was just like, how cool are you, Lord? Like, you're so amazing. Look at all the people. Look at how they worship you. Look how they desire you. And then I was ugly crying. And that's it.